How's it going, everyone? Today we're going over the Hynix M die. This is Corsair's titanium lineup. It's one of their premium lineups. You don't not have to get their premium lineup. This right here I got back and I splurged on my PC that I wanted, so I got what I wanted. This is a 48GB Hynix M die, so this is the best for overclocking. The 24GB sticks are the best and what you want. The chat will be live. I will be checking up on chat when I can. Should be fairly quick, so hopefully it's good. All right. So there's the Hynix M die. These are just the titaniums, Dominator titaniums. And one thing we will need is a 1/16 Allen key. Just saying. If you do not get their, I believe it's their first edition, you can get first edition of these. The first editions come with a kit that you can take apart, and they also have the other heat spreader. So we'll just open these up. Right now I'm running Micron. Right now they're just Micron at normal JDEC 4800 mega transfers, just at 40/40/40. Okay, so we'll just take a little look-sees at them. Yeah, they're nice. So, and we got the Dominator, the LEDs. We'll be taking that off. What I should do for everybody, let's get a good close-up here. Bad. So these are just 7200. These are 7200, a 7400 max bandwidth. So there's two different kind of XMPs. The 72 is the guaranteed, and the other one's just its max. Not really a guaranteed. So today we're going to take apart the Hynix M die titaniums. We're going to take off the LED part of it because, well, we don't really need it. And I also want to show the copper mod that I have on it. Fairly easy. You know, as we got to do. So once it's loose, we just pull these apart here. Fairly simple to do, not hard to do at all. So if you have like a 3D printer, you can, so if you have a 3D printer, you can take this part off, which is this whole line, and you can go into Corsair's website. They also have the file that you need for putting this on or making your own top LED. You can make whatever you want, bigger, smaller, generally keep it in this size. You can, so these little screws that it has, you can replace these if you want to. As let's say you make your own spreader on it and it's like a longer one, you can replace them. Just try to make sure it's the same style. Maybe I'll leave a link in the below on what these are. You might have to custom fab it, like you might have to cut it to length to make sure it works proper. So you don't want to go too far into the actual heatsink. And this is what we want to do with it. It's still not stock. This has copper mods. And as you can see, there's all the copper shims on one side there. So I'll take off this one too. Okay. Again, we just pull that off after you take out the two screws from the side. Voila. We have a close up of these for you. Stack them. So that's what it is. It's just the connector that goes in for it. Then you can take this off with the couple screws there. And then this little piece. Maybe I should take that off for you too later on. After I take apart the rest of it. I might take this off here for you to show you what exactly it is. It's just an LED. It's just lights on this. And a connector for power control. And we'll put those aside. Right. I guess we will need the Allen key still. See, I don't think I permaglued these together. So, these here are kind of odd. So, they're two-way. And you should use two different Allen keys. And they're the same Allen key, which kind of makes it the odd. And it looks like I'm gonna need the other one. Let's think. Where's that? Yep, that's the one. Okay, so we got the second Allen key because these are a two-part. I don't know if I'll be able to show these on camera. Alright, so these two-part screws, not bad. So the one screw is a full through and it's all threaded all the way. This one right here, as you can see, and this right here just screws into it. That's one side, now we have to do the other side. And that's the other side. Yeah, these are not fun to take apart, as I remember. I have to grab my Alright, I'm back. Had to grab the little plastic scraper. I like to use the plastic razors because they're just gentler on everything. And just gotta be really gentle with this. Take your time taking off the spreader if you're gonna take off the spreader. I mean, really take your time. Alright. This side was the tricky one. And once we slightly get that open, we can get that in there. It's gentle. Voila. Again, just take your time on this. Just lightly peel everything back. Just wiggle it back and forth. It's not too hard to do. Just take your time. If you heat it up a little bit, it does help a bit. I don't know. Alright. So, looks like one of my copper shims actually stuck to the other side. I need to take that off. Really does not want to stick anymore. Okay, so these are single-sided DIMMs. So there's no memory chips on this side. Just this side. Now, right here, you want to add, if there isn't any, which there should be, you gotta add on all across the front right here, all on the actual chips here, and IMC, which is in the center right here. The DDR5 has a control board on it, which helps. So yeah, that's my copper mod. This one doesn't want to stick anymore, so let's show. These are just 0.5 millimeter shims. And of course, this one goes on this side here. And we'll just push that back down. Make sure everything lines back up. So, as you can see, the copper shims all on top here. You can add thermal paste in that. So on this before, when I took off, there's a thick pad on it. Not really, it wasn't even a thermal pad, it was like foam for some reason. I added a very thin layer, so a lot of them stuck to the one side, which is good. That's what you want to do. Just make sure that's all across. The heat spreader on the single die, it's best just to put it on the one side, so that way you can put on the original heat spreader instead of having to get aftermarket. And this makes it work very nice. So now we'll have to put this back together, which is not fun to do with these screws. I'm not a fan of them. The split screws. Yeah, show these again. Split screw. So this one has a threaded inside all the way, and this one goes inside of it. But you have to use 2 Allen keys, and that's the weird part about it, because if you get a kit that doesn't have 2 16th inch Allen, like You have to buy 2 kits. For what reason? That one there. Grab that. Put that over there. And what I like to do is just use my finger to start it on the one side. Then things will get tight. Everything will hold. Then we can go to the other side. Do the same. You can just use your finger for now. And then to tighten it, we'll use the second Allen key. So, there. Like so. Should hold. Then we can do this. Like that. Hold it. Hold it with the Allen key. Grab the other one. Go inside, and that's about all we need to do. We don't need to go crazy with the tightness. They do have thread lock on them, so it does help hold it together from any vibration. And we'll do the other side. Again, just finger tight. Yeah. We're all back together on them. Not too hard to do. And this weighs probably almost twice the amount of weight with the copper shims. I do find I can get 400 megahertz overclock more with them during the summer. During the winter, because I'm Canadian, it does get a bit cooler, and when I do like the hardcore overclocking, the max I've gotten on to the overclock is 8200 megatransfers per second, which is alright. I just don't have a 2-DIMM board. I have a 4-DIMM board, a Z690 Horse Master. If I had a 2-DIMM board, I probably could go more. This year, I'm going to try to go for like an 83, maybe an 8400 on them, but we'll see. The timings, you do have to loosen them right. Like, the timings don't even matter. Everything doesn't matter at that point for the frequency, but for these Hynix M die, they work really good for tightening the timings and not having to go crazy with the voltage. And I did the same with this one too. So this one here, I did the same. Copper modded it. And it does. It helps quite a bit. Very, very easy to do. As long as you get these single-sided DIMMs. The dual-sided DIMMs, you won't be able to use the actual heat spiders that come with it. And this right here just goes back onto it if you want to put it back onto it. I find with the overclocking and having like ICU downloaded, there's no point in having these on. It just creates extra heat, and for like performance wise, you do lose some points due to the ICU and all the LEDs and all that for the CPU, more or less. Less programs you have running, the better. Yeah, so that's my Hynix M dies that I have. These Hynix M dies batch were March to September or March to November 2022, and that's how you can figure out if you have Hynix M die on these kits. Is they only made them during a certain time, and Hynix only made these 24 gigabyte sticks at a certain time as well, and that was September 2022. I'm not sure if they've made more since then, but I know the batch numbers from September 2022 March till September or November is basically guaranteed to have Hynix M die. And if we go to the actual like CMP 48GX 5M 2X 7200 C36, and you also know by the 3648 116 at 1.4 volts. That version number of a 5.533 there also will help you guarantee that you're getting the Hynix M die for these Corsairs. Another way to find out if you have Hynix M die is you can lower the timings except for TRFC, and TRFC is the lowest you can go on Hynix M die is 400. You cannot get lower than 400. If you somehow magically do, it's not stable at all. Does not matter who you are, what you say, that is how it works. If you have Hynix A die, you can go as low as 300, I believe, right around 300. And some people have gone about 280, but it's not that stable. 300 is around stable for Hynix A die. M die is 400. 700 is more or less the more stable for everything, but you can get it stable at 400. I have mine usually set to 420. 420 to 700 is my give and take for it, because every time the motherboard goes into like a the timing route of it, it's a loop. It might switch to from 455 to maybe a 600, and that's just because it wants to have that at that startup, if that makes sense. We can lower this with like an easy tune or a RAM overclocker while in the actual OS, so the operating system in your Windows. It's not really recommended. You can break some things while switching timings in the actual Windows. It's not recommended. You can. I haven't really found any issues, but a lot of people have said, yeah, there's breaking the Windows and that. And I've only seen a blue screen a couple times and not loop back into Windows properly like once, so it's not that bad. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is clean these up a little bit. For winter and for like hardcore overclocking, I will put a little bit, like a very light Vaseline on a lot of things on the RAM, as DDR5 is just really unstable to begin with. So if you're trying to go for extreme overclocking, any little bit of moisture or anything like that, it's just best not to have. Or the RAM a little bit. Those are nice and clean. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was a good idea. Oh. Yeah. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't even see it. Oh, I'll wait till I'm done then. That's just a wipe. Should have cleaned this a while ago. And before you put your RAM into your PC, you should just clean them anyways. Stability in that, just guarantee you don't have like a hair or extra dust in it. Especially if you switch over your RAM a lot. I know I do, so try to keep things clean. Try to. Look at that. Look at that. God, there we go. Come on. Can show it. There we go. Oh God, look at that. Alright. Only because I don't want to open up this one. It's good. That was good to begin with. As when I took apart. Nice. Okay, so why am I doing this right now? Well, I'm trying to get these ready, so I had the actual LEDs on. I'm doing an overclocking for Hynix M die. The best way to do it is just not have any LEDs, not have any extras on your RAM. any extra things going when you load up Windows. So wanted to take those apart before I put them in. The RAM guide for the Hynix M die, I'm going to be doing a fairly short one to begin with, just for now. And then if I get views, if people actually like the little quick guide, just to make it so you have better latency in games, more or less, just to make sure you're stable, more or less guaranteed to be stabled on Hynix M die. Let's just give you a short video on that. We'll make a better, longer video later on, if people want me to, of course, about like fully timing your primary, secondary timings and your round latencies as well, and also the round trip latencies and timings and stuff like that for like your actual motherboard. I don't have more than just one motherboard right now, so I can't tell you exactly on your Asus board, but for Gigabyte boards I can show you, and Asus boards are fairly similar to it, so actually most boards are fairly similar nowadays, so I'll just show you how to do it. And then if it's a little bit different in like an Asus board, if you comment down below, I can give you little pointers on Asus. For DDR5 or any Asus boards now with Intel, so Intel Asus don't have the advanced OC on any Asus boards. No advanced OC. It's just bad right now. It will degrade your CPU. Just don't have it on. Do your own timings, do your own voltages, and make sure you're on the new microcode. It doesn't matter if you're on the new microcode on the Asus board. If you switch it over to the advanced OC, it will degrade your CPU. Things are just way hotter. It's taking in way more voltages. It's just not good. So just do not do that. And that's just from everyone. That's everyone saying this. So just don't have advanced OC on any Asus motherboards for Intel. For now. They'll fix it. Doesn't matter, again, what microcode you're on, if you're on the newest one or the newest BIOS or anything. Just don't have advanced OC on. And so I'm done with these. Again, I'll show them. Copper mod. If you would like me to make a video about copper modding these, I'll take them all off, completely clean them up, and make this look like brand new. And then I'll show you what I do with the copper shims to make sure you could put on the actual spreader, the actual real spreader for it, instead of having to buy another spreader, like a heat spreader for it. There's no point in buying it more if you don't need it. Again, it's only achievable if you buy these single-sided chips. Even though these are single-sided, they're still dual rank. Hooray, DDR5. Might end the stream now, and then just go back and make a new stream with the Hynix, and then we'll just continue on. But for now, that's that. That's what I got right now. These Corsair Dominator titaniums, they're not the platinums, these are titaniums. They're pricey, very pricey. So this 48GB kit, Hynix M die, is about $350 or $400, depends on where you're buying them. They're around $400 for the kit. Not necessary. You can find JDEC speeds. So JDEC is the official speeds from the generations of RAM. So DDR3 JDEC is 1300, 1600, or 1333, 1600 is their JDEC. They have different JDECs for each one, and each JDEC will have the voltage usually of like a 1.1 volt, and then a set timing with that. So with the JDEC for DDR5, it's 4800 mega transfers per second, and it's usually a 40, 40, 40, 40, 80 or 120. I'm not quite sure there. It's been a while since I checked the JDEC, but it's about 40, 40, 40, 40, 120 on the TRFC, I believe it is, or TRC, the TRC, sorry. And then, yeah, that's the JDEC. These here are Hynix M dies, and you'll know the Hynix M die by being the 36, 48, 48, 120. Also, what year they're made. They also have M in it. So I'll have like an M2 on the back side here. You'll notice that it has like M2. But more or less, like, you'll find that they have made September 2022 from March till September, November. These, I believe, are 3 gigabyte chips. So, yeah. Gigabytes? Yeah, these are 3 gigabyte chips. I hear most people find the Hynix A dies are the 2 by 16 gigabytes, which are the 32 gigabyte kits, which are Hynix usually A die. And I find what I've read more or less is most people are finding the 16 gigabyte sticks are overclocking the frequency way higher, and you can add more voltage. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've been reading. The 24 gigabyte A dies versus the M dies. The A dies are there's a lot of mix and twists what I've been reading on, what I've read on it, and what's been going on it, and what I've seen with M dies. But the Hynix A dies, people are saying you can get more frequency and a tighter TRFC. But that's not the case. Like, some people are getting, and they're saying up to like 2 volts stable. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do 2 volts on it, not unless you're doing like liquid nitrogen for sure. Especially Hynix M die, because Hynix M die will only go up to about 40 degrees Celsius, maybe 45, before it comes unstable. But the Hynix A die versus the M die is that they're saying more frequency, so a higher baseline frequency of, say, 8,000 megatransfers per second, 8,000 on Hynix A die, with the same voltage, a tighter timing on the TRFC, but every other timing's worse. I have not found that. I've found that I've tightened the timings to about the same. The TRFC, the lowest I can go on mine is 415, and that might be due to my motherboard, but more or less that is as low as you can go on M die, is about 400 on the TRFC. You can say TRFC, TRFC2, it will say in the BIOS, so you can set for the lowest of TRFC and then its maximum TRFC, and you can keep that so that way every time your motherboard turns on, it'll automatically switch to what it wants, and that can vary. I found I can do 8200 mega transfers on this, but I cannot do TRFC below 900. So TRFC, the lowest I can go is 900, and I have to set its max to like 1100, which is insane. The cast latency has to be around 52, 54, and everything else has to be around 60. That's odd for M die. For being that high, you should be able to tighten these a lot more. It does not matter what voltages I throw into it. I can throw 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 volts into different voltage rails onto it, and it still doesn't matter. I find 1.485 volts on these. Maybe it's my motherboard, maybe it's the CPU. 1.485 volts is the best for around 7800 mega transfers and around CL38, which is pretty good. The TRFC is going to be around 600 though, which isn't that great. With Hynix A die, you can lower that to like 400, no problem, be stable. Just stable. The higher frequencies, you can just keep that lower, and that helps. Like that helps a lot for in games and that. But from like let's say 7200 mega transfers to the 8000 mega transfers, and with that TRFC of like a 400, it's only gonna give you maybe a frame, maybe 2 frames in a game. So it really doesn't matter. And then you can lower all the other secondary timings super low, to where like you're breaking the BIOS of the motherboard for when it does its if you have round trip latency still on, it will go through that and it'll go through it again quickly to make sure everything, yeah, this actually does work. Let's go. What? You can set, I'll have to re-go into it though. I'll have to re-go into the actual BIOS and check it. But generally it sets to about 100. I'll set it to 48, and then, what is it? The latency trip. I have to go back into the BIOS and check this again. It's been a while since I've been doing DDR5. Like I've just been doing other videos and that, which maybe I should be doing more DDR5 videos. Then we can go into like the hardware bot and check over the scores that I have just to show you certain BIOSes on motherboards can also vary the what you can put through it and what can be stable, which is odd too. The newest BIOS for mine is not good. I'm still on F28 for my gigabyte boards. The Z690 F28 seems to be the best for overclocking still. Yeah. Oh, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys would like to see more DDR5 videos. I am making a Hynix M-Die guide, more or less, for the timings that you want to do and the voltages that you want to do. Let's say you just want to buy JEDEC speeds. You can do 4800 up to 6000, no problem, on a bare green die stick, so you don't have to buy these kits. Just more or less show what these kits are really made of, and these kits are nice, especially with the copper mod. The copper mod helps a lot. Anyways guys, that's it for this video, this live stream. So comment down below, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, don't forget to get her done.